How did the 49ers lose this game? And just with them having a 6.5 point spread, 4 were against the Bears, and supposed to be a team that weren't going to win many games this year. Justin Fields, a rookie QB, who again we passed on, but I guess we'll get into that later on. Let's hear from you, Rod. First of all, why did the 49ers lose this, mate? And what do you think?
Well, thanks, Pete. It's good to be here. Thanks, boys. I think ultimately, in my mind, it came down to penalties and the 100 or so yards that we gave up on penalties. And, some were warranted, and, we can discuss how warranted they were. Some weren't warranted. I just think I heard Nick Bosa speaking after the game, and he said for a team that weren't moving the ball, giving them 15 yards was just like a gift pass to them. So ultimately, I think that's where we came unstuck today.
Jono.
Yeah, look, I totally agree. Yeah, with Rod, it was a very ill-disciplined performance from the defense, which was disappointing considering statistically, if you looked at it on paper, you would have thought that the 49ers would have won and won comfortably. I tend to think that it was off the back of those second chance opportunities, those situations when they're in third and middle, third and long, and the flag gets thrown for a new fresh set of downs. And the two busted coverages on the back end by the defense just to open it up. The one to Dante Pettis really stung as a former 49er.
The revenge game.
The revenge game. But yeah, that's the two busted coverages, putting yourself down 2 scores, and then when the monsoon weather hit at the back end, it was just all too much.
It's a funny, it's a cliche and pardon the pun, but a perfect storm for them. When we needed to score twice, there was no way you could pass the ball in those conditions. But no. Anyway, Scott, what did you think, mate?
Yeah, from what you guys just said, then too little, too late. The horse had gone by the time it got to the last quarter, and then the weather kicked in. We weren't going to have a chance. But you guys have all nailed it on the head with the penalties. You're not going to win a game. And you look at the rugby league cliches. If you don't get the penalty count like they did, you're going to lose it. And I'm not going to say the penalties aren't warranted. I'm going to say that you don't put yourself in a position to have those penalties happen. And that's the problem. That's what they did. They put themselves in positions. Some of them are going to be seen, some of them aren't. And I guess that's where I bring a different perspective in from a refereeing background and say, well, you don't put yourself in a position to have those penalties happen. And I think one thing we haven't really looked at the moment is the 2 key injuries that we had. No George Kittle, which would have been a big help to Trey. And I think also Eli Mitchell getting injured early on. His running game was brilliant before. And I don't think that was it Wilson that did most of the running after that. I don't think he had much of an opportunity.
Yeah. But, Elijah Mitchell's ticking over at 6.1 yards a carry. Yeah. And he rolls out midway through the second quarter, and it just never looks the same again.
Yeah. No. And he's in my fantasy team, so I was very disappointed that he didn't come through. So
sorry, can we have a little sidebar? How bad's the injury?
Well, yeah, I don't know yet. I saw the replays, and you can see that again, when you think about the NRL physio, it looks like an MCL to me. The way he was crushed, he was, the bottom of the leg went that way, and so yeah, that was again another turning point in the game. Mm-hmm. Look, I definitely agree with you guys, and again. What Scotty said, and it happened to us last year. I don't know if you remember that we were an ill-disciplined team, and I think, and you guys know that I do have a little bit of a bug to bear with Kyle. I think he's a fantastic offensive mind. I just know when you think about, and we're all, look, I'm a coach of rugby league. You guys are coaches. Scott's a referee. discipline is huge, and it's something that in a game like this needed to be locked tight to win, right? To put ourselves in the best position to capitalize on conditions that were very, very hard to win a game of football in, especially when you got a rookie QB, first start, 22 years old, and he was our lead rusher today too. And I was talking to Rod before we started. Why he doesn't slide, it's beyond me. He's going to kill himself, the kid. But the support, as they've said, the support team around this kid has to perform well at its optimum for us to win. Scotty, in some conversations on the chat, on our 49ers chat, has said that there's going to be some, and it's not, we know he's a rookie. There's going to be some bumps. There's going to be some lumps, and our supporting cast and not having Kittle and Debo fumbling the ball, and he just doesn't do that usually, and everything happened that wasn't supposed to happen today. And I just think there was a combination of obviously the penalties that killed us, and I think, as we'll get to our third topic with Kyle, I thought Kyle could have done a better job protecting Trey, like he has done protecting Jimmy. And I'm definitely not, I've got my opinions on Jimmy, but not to be a Jimmy bash at all, but he did protect him because he needed it. So anyway, anything else to add, boys, before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, fellas, I think the other thing that got us today was we dominated the first half statistically in all facets of the game, pinning them down there where they're starting there from, and we only came away with 10 points to show for it. And if we had have converted a couple of those opportunities into points and gone in at say 17 rather than 10, well, it's a different ballgame.
Tyler Croft, how many times has Kyle dialed up that play for use Jack, and Jimmy can't hit him, and now Trey can't hit him. Kyle must just be pulling his hair out, and that would have been that's the 17-0, right?
And the simple fumble.
What I do,
Sorry, go Scotty.
Just a simple fumble from Debo.
Yeah,
10 yards out.
Yeah.
I did like to hear that, and you didn't hear it a lot with Jimmy. Was that Trey kind of acknowledged that he tried to throw the perfect ball as opposed to just laying it up. So if that's a teaching moment for him, and he comes back the next time, and he just puts it where he needs to as opposed to the perfect spot, then that's something that I'm looking to see.
Yeah,
I think there was something statistically too in the first half. At one point, there'd been Chicago had 5 punts and had a total of 3 yards passing.
Yeah,
to highlight the dominance.
Sorry, mate. So Justin Fields had net in the first half 0.3 yards total.
Yeah,
and Trey had 6.4. So he was killing it.
Yeah.
I just can't believe we're 0-1, but it is what it is.